We'd like to think that when we purchase software, we install it and it's perfect, and that it doesn't need anything else for the entire time that we are using it. The reality is that software needs to be constantly updated. Some updates are necessary to fix errors or bugs in the code, or to fix problems that have only showed up with a new operating system release. Other updates are to fix security problems. Updates can also add functions or features not previously included with the software. For this reason, it's important to keep your operating system, applications, and device drivers up to date. Let's talk first about updates to the Microsoft operating system. Microsoft classifies updates as either hotfixes or service packs. A hotfix is a patch that addresses one specific problem with the operating system or its related files. Hotfixes are identified with a number that's preceded by KB for knowledge base article. If you're experiencing a problem, you may find a knowledge base article with a specific number, and that number identifies a related hotfix that addresses that issue. If you want to fix the problem associated with that knowledge base article, simply apply the hotfix with the same number as the knowledge base article. Hotfixes are created on a periodic basis as Microsoft finds and fixes problems in the code. They are released typically on Tuesdays. You might have a release that includes several hotfixes, but again, the hotfixes are identified to fix a specific problem. You can choose to install one or multiple hotfixes to fix the problems that you might be experiencing. Microsoft uses the term service pack or SP to identify a set of patches that are related. Whereas hotfixes are released frequently and periodically, service packs include all hotfixes that have been released up to that time. You can think of a hotfix as a band-aid that fixes one problem, whereas the service pack is a collection of fixes that bring the operating system up to its most current level. Service packs are typically identified with a number, such as SP1 or SP2. SP1 would include all the hotfixes that were released up to that time. Following the release of a service pack, there might be additional hotfixes released. When Service Pack 2 is created, all of those hotfixes are included within the latest service pack. When you run a version of the operating system, you'll typically see these designations that identify the version of the operating system that you are running. Sometimes the first version is identified with RC as release candidate, with additional designations for Service Pack 1, 2, and so on. If, for instance, I was at a release candidate version, but the latest version of the operating system was Service Pack 2, I could get myself up to date by simply applying Service Pack 2. And that would give me all of the hotfixes within Service Pack 1, as well as all of the hotfixes included with Service Pack 2. To get the most up to date at this point, I would also have to apply any additional hotfixes that were released since the Service Pack was released. This process is typically required when you install an operating system. The installation disk might have the release candidate on it, or perhaps you have a Service Pack 1 version of the installation disk. Following the installation, you should apply the service pack and any additional hotfixes that belong to the operating system. Microsoft includes a feature called Microsoft Update that helps keep your operating system up to date. Windows Update automatically identifies, downloads, and installs updates for the operating system and common driver files that have been registered with Microsoft. A similar service called Microsoft Update updates all of these products, plus provides updates for other Microsoft products such as Microsoft Office. So with Windows Update, you get operating system and driver updates, whereas with Microsoft Update, you get operating system, driver, as well as other Microsoft product updates. With either solution, you can automatically download and install important updates. While Windows Update can update some driver files, not all drivers are made available through the Windows Update service. To keep these drivers updated, as well as to update non-Microsoft applications, you will need to check with the hardware or software company. Before installing a device, check the manufacturer's website for a new driver, and be sure to check for updated drivers anytime you are having a problem. Many applications include features that check for updates to the software automatically. If not, you will need to manually check for updates for these applications. Another type of update you need to be aware of are firmware updates. Firmware is code embedded in flash memory on a device. Common firmware updates include updates for the BIOS or hardware devices such as switches or modems. A common way to perform a firmware update is to download the update, connect to the device from a device on the network, and then update the code using a built-in updater. Updating the firmware is often called flashing because you are overwriting the contents of the flash memory on the device. When updating the firmware, be sure to back up the current system firmware first, if possible, and then be sure to not turn off the device until the update is complete. Keeping your systems updated is a part of regular system maintenance. Windows and some applications include features that identify, download, and install updates automatically. For other products, you will need to periodically check for and install updates. When you experience a problem with a device or a program, the first step is often to check for updates and apply those updates.